All right, everybody. I am now pleased to welcome Tim McCarthy to the Jeff Macolino Podcast. How are you, Tim?
Doing great, Jeff. Thanks for having me on. How's things with you?
Not too bad. So I'll full disclosure. It was a late night. I didn't get to bed. I slept on the couch. It's one of those nights.
Nothing like going up on a Tuesday.
Mm, yeah. I realize I going a little too hard on a early weekday.
Hey, I
Uh,
respect it.
so Tim, you have a podcast I want to talk about, but before I talk about that, I do want to talk to you about weird thing that you probably get hassled about all the time is match game.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
100%.
love the guys that they try to put on TV is that they get the celebrities all drunk.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah, they fed them drinks. Like
oh, they
every
did.
time I look, oh yeah, like every commercial break, this like waitress type lady came over with like a headset on and just giving them drinks. It must be super fun being a celebrity on that show, though.
I would imagine, right? You just get to be drunk and just make a
Yeah,
fool of yourself.
yeah, exactly.
That's what I call Tuesday night, and I don't get paid for it.
Did not like my answer at the end at all when it was blank code and I said Morse and he was like, I don't know, and I was like, damn man, I was like, that was a good answer. And then when he flipped the card and he ended up having the card. I don't know if you're doing video for this podcast, but I'll show it for you for the sake of it. It's funny that I have it in here. I have the
Oh,
original card that
nice,
he had and he signed it.
nice.
Yeah, so it's a good little memento to have from that game show just in case I ever lose my mind.
So it's 20 TIMinutes. Is
Boom,
that the way you
nailed it.
pronounce it?
Yeah, so like I didn't do two M's in it because it just looks like it's too bunched up. But a lot of people say 20 TI minutes, and I think to my head, it's like, is this a TI podcast about the rapper? So I always
Yeah,
make jokes about that all the time. So I was like, yeah, 20 minutes is just me talking about TI.
yeah. All of his greatest hits. I did, and I'll be honest. The first time I saw it, I'm like, Ti.
Yeah,
What is that?
yeah, yeah. If I did it maybe all lowercase, it would come out, but like just like my name. And the reason I did that for a name is because I have ADHD and I can only talk to myself for so long. So on Tuesdays, I do my 20-minute episodes. And again, I only have so much attention span for that. And then on Thursdays, I do have interviews. So it's kind of like a running gag. My guest would be like, oh, so is this just 20 minutes? I'm like, oh, no, it's just like a running gag at this point. So they're like, oh, okay. So it's kind of like a bonus episode. So I'm not handcuffed to just those Tuesdays episodes.
uh, a lot of what you talk about on the podcast is mental health type stuff. Um, I I have in the past been very upfront about my own mental health issues. Um, my alcoholism is not related to that, by the way. That's completely fine.
All right, good, good. I've always dealt with issues. I had undiagnosed ADHD up until I was like 35, and they finally did it. I was like, well, Adderall would have been great in high school. I was getting C's and D's. Like C's and D's get degrees still, but I wish I was a little bit better. I would have gotten to a better college. But yeah, so things were getting kind of bad. Like you would think like 2018, 2019, when I was like pretty much at my worst. And it's like I was on a game show in 2018. People thought like, oh, everything's fine, like all this. It's like, yeah, winning the money was like great. Don't know where that money went, by the way. I think I just blew it on a bunch of stuff. Um, so so that was going on, and I was just having a tough time with like work, life, money, like my marriage, like all that stuff. And I got to the point where I was gonna commit suicide, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I just felt like a burden on everybody. I just felt like my life was going nowhere. So I decided to hang myself one day, and I got to the point where and again, I like awkward conversations, and I'm very forward with this because people always think like talking about suicide actually leads to people wanting to do suicide, and that's not the case. You bring it up, and people are like, oh, like this is like real. It's like, oh yeah, it's like you got to be like open and blatant about mental health, or people aren't going to take it serious. Because a lot
Yeah.
of people joke about it. You got people on TikTok like doing dances, being like, I have bipolar too. This is my dance move for it. And you're like, ugh. So the day happened, and I just stood there, just crying my eyes out. Like no one was home, and I just stood there, and like waited. And I was like, I got to do this soon. I was like, all this stuff, and my cat of all people like kicked me out of it. tell everybody the road ain't easy to get help, and you got to just stick by it. You got to find friends, find a circle, find anybody, even if it's like a stranger online, just to keep you grounded in that game, because it's exhausting. It's like you want to kill yourself, and then you go to the doctors and therapy, and it's like, oh, okay, this is going to take some time. It's like, yeah, you'll be fine. Just hang around for a little bit. And it's like, that's a bad choice of words.
Yes, very, very poor. You know, I had someone who described depression as like a flat spot on a tire. It's like, it's, you know, depending on how fast the wheel is spinning, yeah, it's going to hit. And you just got to ride it out or get help or do whatever you need to do to get past it.
I like that.
But it's going to come back every time. It doesn't matter how successful you are, how rich you are, how, you know, none of that matters. It's just going to come hit you. And I think that's the best analogy I've ever heard, because it's like, that's about right. It really doesn't matter. And to be frank, I get the same way with, random happiness almost. I'm like, why am I happy? Things aren't going well. Why am I happy?
Yeah, for me, that's called mania. Are you drinking a Dasani water?
Yeah, this is a movie theater, 1 liter.
Oh my God, you are a crazy person. Dasani's like sink water, dude.
Oh yeah, it's awful. But in fairness, this is all they sell at the movie theater I go to.
Okay. And
this is actually filtered water that I poured into it and put it back in the fridge.
Fantastic. I was like, we're talking about a serious thing. You pull up at a sign, and I'm like, whoa.
Well, what kind of fucking psycho are you?
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. I was like, things are adding up now.
Hey, it's hydration. I had a rough night.
I like that tire analogy a lot, because you can either try to fix it yourself, or you can have help and ask somebody to help change a tire if you don't know how to change one. So yeah, I really like that one. I'm going to take that one with me.
Oof. Wave of heartburn. I apologize.
Oh, no worries. You got to get sponsored by Tums then.
Tums. My DMs are open if you want to sponsor the podcast. I love to eat Tums. That's that I think I've called that an alcoholic's breakfast before.
Oh yeah, that's the alcoholic Tic Tac.
Tim, thank you so much. I apologize for almost vomiting on the well, not on you, but
yeah,
would have still been gross.
It would have been interesting. The first person I ever made vomit from an interview.
It went so well, he threw up.
Yeah, I killed it.